Hello everyone, this is Captain Binoy Varakil, Assistant Professor, Department of English, St. Joseph's College, Varakil. Welcome to my channel. We begin a new series of lectures today. One of the courses in the third semester MA English syllabus is World Drama. One of the prescribed plays in this course is Accidental Death of an Anarchist by the Italian dramatist Dario Fo. In this series of lectures, we will be discussing the play Accidental Death of an Anarchist in detail. We will be discussing the characters of the play, the plot of the play, a scene-wise analysis, so also the important questions and themes and topics of the play. In this first lecture, we are looking at the biographical details of Dario Fo. So I have prepared a number of slides for the biographical details of Dario Fo, as well as the characters and the scene-wise analysis of the play. Dario Fo is an Italian actor and playwright. He was a great genius. He was many in one, like he was an actor, playwright, comedian, singer, theater director, stage designer, songwriter, painter, and besides all this, he was also a political campaigner of the Italian extremist left wing. And for the great contribution of Dario Fo to literature, he was given the Nobel Prize in Literature in the year 1997. Now let us just look at the very biography of Dario Fo. So Dario Fo was an Italian avant-garde playwright, manager, director and actor. He was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1997, though he often faced government censure as a theatrical caricaturist with a flair for social agitation. Fo's first theatrical experience was collaborating on satirical revues for small cabarets and theaters. We have the very photograph of Dario Fo. He lived between 1926 and 2016. Dario Fo and his wife, the actress Franca, produced humorous sketches on the television show Canzonissima that soon made them popular public personalities. They founded the theater companies Campania Dario Fo Franca in 1958, Nuova Scena in 1968, and Collettivo Teatrale La Commune in 1970, developing an agitprop theater of politics, often blasphemous and scatological, but rooted in the tradition of commedia dell'arte and blended with what Fo called unofficial leftism. With the latter troupe, they began to tour factories, parks and gymnasiums. This is Dario Fo and Franca, husband and wife, and this is again the two of them spending some joyous moments together. Franca, Dario Fo's wife. Now Dario Fo wrote more than 80 plays. That's very important. When we discuss the greatest playwright of Britain, we speak about William Shakespeare, and we know that Shakespeare has written only 37 plays. But look at what Dario Fo has done. He has written more than 80 plays, and besides, of course, he went for a number of other performances like singing, then other painting, a lot of contribution, a lot of creativity. So these 80 plays he co-authored with his wife Franca as well. Among his most popular plays are Morte accidentale di un anarchio, or accidental death of an anarchist. It was written in 1970, and non si paga, that is in 1974. The English translation is we can't pay, we won't pay. As a performer, Fo is best known for his solo tour De Fo's Mistero Baffo in 1973, which means comic mystery based on medieval mystery plays, but so tropical that the shows changed with each audience. Now, more about the life of Dario Fo. Dario Fo is born in the village of San Giano in Lombardy, northern Italy. His father, Felice, is a station master. His mother, Pina Rota, a woman of peasant stock. Dario is the oldest of three, with one brother, Fulvio, and one sister, Bianca. Felice Fo is moved by the railway authorities to Porto Voltraglia on the shores of Lake Maggiore, where Dario spends the rest of his childhood. In his Nobel Prize-winning speech in Stockholm, he continued to underline his debt to the fabulatory storytellers of the village. These were not professional performers, but fishermen or glass blowers who, while repairing nets or blowing molten glass, recounted fantastic tales, a blend of references to local people and episodes of pure fantasy. Italy joins the war on the side of Nazi Germany. Dario begins commuting daily to Milan to study at the Brera. Brera is a complex of institutes which included a high school, an art college, and the famous art gallery. In the 1943, the Allies landed in Sicily. Mussolini is overthrown in Rome, imprisoned, then released by German forces. Mussolini chooses Salo on Lake Garda as capital of his new republic. Northern Italy, including Dario's home village, comes under its control. Dario is called up by the Republic of Salo. He joins the army, then deserts, and although not taking an active part in the resistance, spends months in hiding. In 1945, Dario Fo resumes commuting daily to Milan, where he studies art at the Brera and enrolls to study architecture at the Politecnico. Dario is caught up in the stimulating intellectual life of post-liberation Milan, reading authors and seeing the work of artists who had been banned under fascism. His aim is to be a painter, and he puts on his first art exhibition in the city of Bergamo. In 1947, during the daily journeys to Milan, Dario starts entertaining commuters with sketches and songs of his own. He lives a bohemian life in Milan, meeting artists and writers and taking part with friends in raids on theaters, where they buy seats on purpose to boo and jeer well-established writers and actors, especially those who have been compromised by fascism. In 1948, first venture into theater with a now lost piece, The Teresa Divides Us, performed by him and his friends, satirizing the division of Italy between communists and Christian Democrats. In 1949, mother, brother and sister moved to Milan. Dario has a nervous breakdown and abandons his study of architecture. He continues painting all his life. In 1950, Dario meets the actor Franco Parenti, who encourages him to continue writing and performing Poia Nano, that is, Poor Sword in English, a series of monologues. These tales overturn traditional heroes and villains, telling, for instance, the story of David and Goliath from the perspective of a good-hearted, overgrown chump called Goliath. In 1951, while playing in a review called 7 Days in Milan, Dario met Franca performing the same show. Franca belongs to a family company of traveling players who can trace their theatrical pedigree back to the 18th century. In 1952 appears in a variety of show Cocorico in a cast which includes Giustino Durano. In 1953 records his first song, The Moon is a Light Bulb, writes many songs, mainly whimsical or satirical, same for the other singers. Music is an intrinsic part of his theater at all phases of his career. In 1953, he establishes with Franco Parenti and Giustino Durano his first theater company, the Uprights. The three stage at the Piccolo Teatro in Milan a satirical cabaret entitled Epoch in the Eye. Franca is one of the performers. In 1954, Franca and Dario marry. Their lives as performers, writers, and political activists are, from that point, inseparable. Madhouse for the Sane, the second cabaret review for the same company. 1955, in spite of the success of the second show, the company splits up and the members go their own way. Dario and Franca's only son Jacopo is born. The family moved to Rome, where Dario intends to try his luck in cinema, both as a scriptwriter and an actor. In 1956, Dario wrote and acted in a film Lo Svietato, directed by Carlo Lizzani, with Franca as female lead. The film is not a great success. 1958, the couple returned to Milan and to theatre. They set up the Compagnia Forum with Dario as writer, actor, and director and stage designer. Thieves, Mannequins, and Nude Women, a program of 4 one-act farces all by Dario, is a success with critics and public. Second set of one-act farces, Comica Finale, is staged in Turin. In 1959, the staging of Archangels Don't Play Pinball at the Odeon in Milan marks the beginning of what is later tagged Fo's bourgeoisie period. Fo and Reim make their name in the established theatres of the great cities of Italy, the years of Italy's economic miracle. In 1960, we have the premiere of He Had Two Pistols and Black and White Eyes, a comedy satirizing corruption in the building trade. First foreign production of his work, Archangels Don't Play Pinball, performed in Zagreb. 1961, He Who Steals a Foot is Lucky in Love, a modern version of the myth of Daphne and Apollo with satirical overtones. Thieves, Mannequins, and Nude Women is performed in Stockholm. 1962, Dario and Franca are invited on a trial basis to present a small program who has seen it on a new TV channel RA12. Their ratings lead to their being asked to present on the main channel Canzonissima, the big song, RA1's main Saturday evening variety spectacular. Whimsical sketches are expected, but Dario's pieces are hard-hitting comic satires on issues of the day. Ratings soar, but questions are asked in Parliament and the couple receive death sentence, or rather death threats. During a building workers' strike, Dario is refused permission to broadcast a sketch on accidents at work but will not make changes. The couple walk out. The story makes headlines, guaranteeing the couple's celebrity. 1963, return to the Odeon, Milan, with Isabella, Three Caravels, and a Con Man, a comedy on Christopher Columbus and at the Spanish court, which also reflects Dario's experience in the offices of Rye. 1964, Seventh, Still a Little Less, goes on tour to some 51 venues. Over 2 lakh spectators see the show. In 1965, Always Blame the Devil, Dario's first work set in the Middle Ages. 1966, I Think It Over and Sing About It, a program of traditional peasant and workers' song whose knowledge of the world of popular culture deepens. 1967, adaptation of a play by the French writer Georges Michel, The Sunday Stroll, also writes Toss the Lady Out, set in a mock-up of circus, a bitter attack on the American involvement in Vietnam. 1968, fundamental change of course, break with bourgeoisie theatre to forge a new style of popular theatre. We were tired of being the justice of the bourgeoisie, on whom our criticisms had now the effect of an Alka-Seltzer, so we decided to become the justice of the proletariat. Disbands On Company to establish a theatrical cooperative, Nuova Scena, gives up writing comedy and returns to farce. His plays become explicitly political in intention, abandons the great theatres in the big cities to play to working class people in an alternative circuit of venues managed by ARCI, the cultural and recreational organization associated with the Communist Party. Grand pantomime with puppets small, medium and large, in which he ridicules the church, the army and the big business. During the year, the company gives some 370 performances in and around 125 centers, one of which is a steelworks in Brescia, occupied by striking workers. For this, Dario and Franca received summons from local magistrate, the first of many. 1969, I Think It Over and Sing About It, directed by Fo with traditional and freshly written material, performance in New York of 2 of the one-act farces, first production in English. For operational purposes, the Nuova Scena cooperative divides into 3 troupes, one headed by the playwright Vittorio Franceschi, the second by Franca, and the third consisting of Dario alone. Franca, with others, performs 2 one-act plays written by Fo. The worker knows 300 words, the boss 1000. That's why he is the boss and the boss' funeral. Dario stages Mistero Buffo, a series of sketches from medieval sources, sometimes very substantially rewritten, all performed by him alone on stage. Dario models himself on the giulare or jester or the clown, an entertainer from medieval theatre. In 1970, growing gulf with Communist Party leads to the breakup of Nuova Scena. Dario and Franca found La Commune, which retains club members and the cooperative structure. The new company finds a base in Il Campagnone, a warehouse in a working class area of Milan. I would rather die tonight if I thought it had all been in vain. A program of songs and readings on the Italian and Palestinian resistance staged in the new venue. First performances of Accidental Death of an Anarchist. 1971, All Together, All United, Excuse Me. Isn't That the Boss? A new play, subtitled Workers' Struggles, 1911 and 22. 1972, several new works, Fedayeen, a series of readings by Palestinian exiles and militants, Accidental Death of an Anarchist and Other Subversives, an updated version dealing with the mysterious death of the publisher Giacomo Feltrinelli, ordered by God, Knock Knock, Who is There, on the deaths of Pinelli and Feltrinelli. Franca Reims set up Red Aid, a support group for imprisoned left-wing militants and their families. The terrorist campaign at its height, Dario and Franca opposed to the use of terror as a political strategy, but are now the focus of police attention. Their phone tapped, they themselves shadowed by police officers, frequent court appearances. 1973, kidnap and rape of Franca by right-wing terrorists, acting as proved later by the report of Judge Guido Salvini with the connivance of Carabinieri, Italy's main police force. Dario, arrested in Sardinia for allegedly failing to comply with a demand from the police to enter the theatre where he was rehearsing. La Commune, riven by internal disputes, breaks up. New company, the theatrical collective La Commune, directed by Dario Fo, established. First work, The People's War in Chile, a series of monologues and one-act pieces written in protest over the coup d'etat in Chile, which ousted the Marxist president Salvador Allende. The new company takes over the Palazzina Liberty, a disused Art Nouveau building in Milan. Originally, the city council agreed to the lease but reneged on the deal. The building is occupied, court cases drag on for years. Can't Pay, Won't Pay premiered in the new venue. 1975, Dario, nominated unsuccessfully for Nobel Prize. Premiere of Kidnap of Fanfani, a political fantasy on the imaginary kidnap of Christian Democrat leader Amintor Fanfani. Dario and Franca, with various members of the company, visit China. 1976, Mum's Marijuana is Best, an attack on the use of drugs, written at the request of parents of the locality of Palazzina Liberty. 1977, returned to TV for the first time since 1962. Several plays to be broadcasted from the Palazzina, with Dario in full control as director, designer, writer and performer. Works shown include Can't Pay, Won't Pay, a rewritten version of Seventh, Steal a Little Less and Mr. Buffo. The screening of this last work unleashes a storm of protest with long articles in the press, debates in parliament, complaints to the magistrates, and a denunciation from the Vatican that the play is disgusting, crass, and degrading, a work of blasphemy. The final program is a series of not very successful but wholly new pieces entitled Let's Talk About Women, the first in a series of feminist works by Franca and Dario, which marks a new phase in Dario's output. All Bed, Board, and Church, a substantially rewritten and rethought series of feminist monologues, is staged in Milan. 1978, The Tale of a Tiger, a one-man monologue based on a story Fo had heard in China. We Can't Pay, We Won't Pay, a translation by Lino Pertile, adapted by Rob Walker, becomes the first Fo play to be staged in Britain. Writes a tragedy never performed based on the kidnapping and murder that year of the Christian Democrat leader Aldo Moro, finally evicted from Palazina Liberty, the last theatre of his own, invited by La Scala to produce a touring production of Stravinsky's The Soldier's Tale. 1979, Fo wins damages over a claim that during the last phase of the war he had been involved in the slaughter of resistance fighters. 1980, Dario and Franca refuse entry to the United States of America, allegedly on the grounds of their involvement with Red Aid. Their American hosts organize in New York an evening without Dario Fo and Franca Ray, which attracts the support of Martin Scorsese, Arthur Miller, Joe Chaikin, and Norman Mailer. Accident Death of an Anarchist opens in London's West End. 1981, Trumpets and Raspberries, written in 10 days and staged in Milan. The Opera of Gauffos, a work initially commissioned by the Berliner Ensemble as a new production of Bertolt Brecht's Threepenny Opera, but then rejected, opens in touring. 1982, Obscene Fables, 3 one-man pieces based on medieval Provencal sources. Dario and Franca make first visit to Britain to perform at the Riverside Studios, London. Female parts, translations of the recent feminist monologue performed at the National Theatre, London. 1983, Dario and Franca again refuse permission to visit United States of America. The Open Couple, a comedy with autobiographical overtones, premieres in Stockholm. 1984, exhibition of Fo's paintings tours Italy. Visit to Buenos Aires, where they are a target of protests, culminating in the throwing of a tear gas bomb inside the theatre. Dario and Franco perform at the Edinburgh Festival. Accident Death of an Anarchist opens in New York. Dario and Franca granted visa to perform in the United States of America. Almost by chance, a woman, Elizabeth, a play featuring Elizabeth I of England and making reference to Shakespeare, opens with Franca in the title role and Dario taking a cross-dressing part as Queen's maid. 1985, Harlequin Arlecchino, a re-examination of the Harlequin character staged at the Venice Biennale. 1986, performance tour of the United States of America. Franca returns to the Edinburgh Festival, where she is joined by Dario, who does not perform. A visit to Travers Theatre to see Tilda Swinton in Man to Man provides the inspiration for An Ordinary Day. Kidnapping Francesca opens in Trieste. 1987, An Ordinary Day opens in a double bill with Open Couple Dario directing, Franca performing. In 1988, forced transmission, an 8-part series on television. 1989, The Pope and the Witch on drugs and birth control, tour to Brazil. 1990, directs 2 short plays by Molière and the Comédie Franca in Paris. 1991, Johann Padden discovers the Americas, a dramatic satirical monologue written in response to celebrations for the 5th centenary of Christopher Columbus' voyage to America. New touring version of Accident Death of Anarchist, produced by the Royal National Theatre, London. 1992, a completely new version of Seventh Still a Little Less, performed by Franca alone, opens in response to Italy's widening bribery scandals. 1995, Dario suffers a stroke, partial loss of memory and sight. Takes up painting once again, makes a gradual but almost complete recovery. 1997, the couple begin touring, but on a small scale, combining pieces of Mr. Robuffo and Sex, Thank You, Don't Mind If I Do, The Devil in Drag, written and directed by Dario with Franca in the leading part, opens in Sicily. Award of the Nobel Prize for Literature. 1998, Free Marino, Marino is Innocent, a militant piece denouncing Leonardo Marino, who had alleged that Adriano Sofri was responsible for the murder of Inspector Calabresi. Retrospective art exhibition, Puppets with Rage and Feeling, mounted at Cesenatico, then touring. 1999, The Holy Jester Francis, a largely respectful if idiosyncratic version of St. Francis of Assisi, which wins Dario the thanks of the Vatican for being the only playwright to treat religious themes. Televised lecture on Leonardo da Vinci to celebrate the restoration of the Last Supper. In the year 2000, announces its candidature as mayor of Milan, later withdrawn. In 2001, takes increasing interest in green politics, including an appearance before the European Parliament in Strasbourg to denounce bioengineering. In 2002, retrospective season at the Piccolo Theatre in Milan, My First 7 Years, a memoir is written, and now of course we have the play. So far we have seen the biographical details, so just remember the fact that in the year 2016, October 13, Dario Fo, the greatest dramatist of the world, passed away. And now with this we end the initial lecture on Dario Fo. In the subsequent lectures we'll be looking at the play in detail, the play Accidental Death of an Anarchist. We will look at the very historical background to the play Accidental Death of an Anarchist, and we will also look at the characters and the plot. Okay, so with this we end this lecture. Thank you very much for listening.